Shalom. On today's program, we find Peter and the disciples exhausted and worn out, but their master was about to come revive them in a very unexpected way. Coming up next on Our Jewish Roots with Bible teaching by Dr. Jeffrey Seif.
Sunrise on the Galilee. Simon Peter prepares his nets for a day at sea. Much like the sea, Peter is unpredictable, calm and steady, and then, in an instant, tempestuous. As we reflect upon the Lord's most intriguing disciple, we can see ourselves, because we too have been broken and then restored. We too, in so many ways, are much like Peter.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I am David Hart.
I'm Kirsten Hart.
Jeffrey Seif.
So we're a little halfway through our program, our series on Peter, and we've seen the ups and the downs, the good and the bad that's happened to him already.
Yes, you know, if you look at historians, typically they write for powerful people and give all the good. They don't give the bad. But the biblical narrative is so honest. We see warts and all when we look at its characters.
Can I just say this is one of my favorite Bible stories, I hate to say it, just story, occurrences ever. Because here, the resurrection happened. They saw him alive, and then it's kind of like, okay, let's go back home, we go fishing. It was like, have you ever had a mountaintop experience, then you have to go back home, and it's kind of like, how did things change? And it's back to work, and we're out fishing again.
And it's great. It's great to see miracle in the work, not just in the church house. You know, these guys are fishermen and experiencing God giving a breakthrough in their workaday world. It's not in the sanctuary with a 200-member choir singing. It's out there doing what they do.
We're there an hour of the week. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No. It's all good.
Just an hour of the week. Yeah.
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 And then they were back to work.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is, and I don't want to jump ahead, but my favorite thing is when this guy calls from the shore, you guys catch anything? I mean, this is like the glorified Christ, right? He's risen. He is King of Kings and Lord and Lords. Yeah. And then like making some bread and fish. Just brought it back down normal again. I love that.
And it's interesting too that he doesn't push himself. He beckons individuals to respond to him. But like Peter, you got to get up and jump in the water and go after him, and there's a meal on the other end of that. I mean, that's a good message. I feel like preaching, but I got to get out of this segment. We'll look at the teaching moment and see what's in it.
Looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Right now, we take you to where it all happened. We go to Israel right now.
In biblical times, the Sea of Galilee could be a capricious friend. One day the waters would provide a great catch. The next day, nothing. Such was the case for the disciples when, after fishing all night, the sea had once again been unfriendly. Their nets were empty, and then, unexpectedly, the miraculous.
$152, $153. איך הצלחת להביא את כל הכמות הזו לחוף בעצמך?
אנדרו, שנינו יודעים שהאיש הזה היה יכול להיות רק ישוע. רק מחולל ניסים יכול להגיד לנו לפרוס את הרשת בצד השני ושנתפוס כזו כמות אדירה של דגים.
נכון. אבל מדוע לא זיהינו אותו?
אין לי מושג. תודות ליוחנן שזיהה אותו ואמר לי. אתה בטח ראית איך קפצתי למים ושחיתי לעבר החוף.
כן. לא חשבתי שאתה עומד ללכת שוב על פני המים.
אבל מדוע לא הבנו? הוא הרי אמר לנו שהוא עתיד לסבול ולמות, והיינו עדים לכך.
הוא אמר שהוא יקום שוב ביום השלישי. היינו עדים לזה.
והוא אמר לנו שהוא יפגוש אותנו כאן בגליל. הכל קרה בדיוק כפי שהוא אמר.
ואז, מטונפים ולא לבושים כראוי כפי שהיינו, ובכל זאת קיבל אותנו בברכה בחוף. נדמה שהוא תמיד שם כאשר זקוקים לו, ותמיד רוצה להאכיל אחרים.
והוא מצפה מאיתנו בדיוק לאותו הדבר.
It's really amazing when you think about it. 2,000 years ago, off of these very shores, in this very sea, referred to as the Sea of Galilee, Sea of Tiberias, call it what you will. 2,000 years ago, there was a boat with Yeshua's Talmidim, with his disciples in it. And one of them, Yochanan, we know him as John, looked at another, Kepha was his Aramaic name. We know him from Petra or Peter. John looked at Peter and he said these two words in Hebrew. He said, Zeh ha'adon. This is the Lord. What precipitated the moment was a miracle. These individuals spent 3 years of shock and awe with Jesus, but there was a miracle now with the post-resurrected Jesus that had them all ablaze with enthusiasm. Let's take a look at the book and see what this fascinating story is all about. Well, it started off like just another day in the office. But when Jesus is around, it's not just another day. I mentioned that. You'll see if you open up your Bibles to John chapter 21, we're told that, we start off with Peter, who makes a statement to the others. He says in verse 3, I'm going fishing. He was an initiator, subsequent to which others said, well, we're going to go with you. And you can kind of get the sense about Peter, whatever his weaknesses are, and he has them, he's an initiator, he's a mover and a shaker, and others follow along. So they're out there in a boat fishing, but it's not going so well. In fact, they're coming up empty. We're told then there's this person from the shore speaking who says, listen, throw the net. You see these nets behind me? Throw the net on the other side of the boat. Now listen, how wide is the boat? This wide? You know, it's not that much. But he says, throw the net over there. Now, I would have just said, look, bud, I don't know who you are, but mind your own business. But I don't write the story. They worked all night. They came up empty. They had the nets in. I would have just said, forget it. But again, it's not me. They throw the net on the other side of the boat, and then all of a sudden they feel the weight of a mother lode. These guys are fishermen, and they could feel it, and the cash register was going ka-ching. That's when John looked at Peter and he says, listen, that's the Lord. He saw a miracle in the making with the money. God worked a miracle in the marketplace. We're so used to seeing and hearing miracles in the church house. Well, here's miracles in business of a magnitude such that he realized this is God business here. It's not just my own efforts. Something else here. Simon Peter realizes it, and I'm sure they all did because they could feel the bump. Enormous fish throwing themselves against the net, and they haul it in. They're struggling. Peter takes leave of the moment. He dresses up and he dives in the water to go to the Lord. It's a fascinating story. I can feel the energy, the impulse here. He throws himself into the sea. And by the way, the boat was about 200 cubits out, according to verse 8. A cubit is 18 inches. You do the math. That's a football field. He's swimming a football field. I wouldn't want to run one, never mind swim one, never mind having been up all night. But this guy is awash with enthusiasm. Why? Because he experiences Jesus in the moment. It's a fascinating story. They count up the fish and see these weren't just big fish, but there were 153 big fish. Begs the question, why the number? We're told it explicitly in verse 11. Why that number? Well, there were 153 nations in the world. Is this symbolic of bringing the nations into the boat, into the harvest? Could very well be. This is the Gospel of John's equivalent of the Great Commission. You look at the Synoptic Gospels. They're sent out to go into all the world. Here there's some kind of symbolism where the world is coming into the net. There's an old figure with the number 153. If you add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going out to 17, it comes into 153. It's a way of saying ad infinitum. The harvest is bountiful. If you throw the net, the fish are going to come into it. Well, indeed they did. Well, there's another story here beyond the Great Commission story, and that is that God does miracles to help people with their finances, to help them in their business world. We see it at play here in the literature, and that's what astounded them. They saw the miracle in the marketplace. If you're looking for one in the marketplace, I want to let you know it's the same God yesterday, today, and forever. What he did back then, he can do for you. He does it for me. He's in the business of doing miracles, that more women and men might come to him.
Our resource for this week, Zola's Introduction to Hebrew. This 400-page text progresses gradually, so even the faint-hearted will find value in it, but robust enough that dedicated students are equipped to read, speak, write, and understand Hebrew. When you contact us, ask for our free monthly newsletter, the Levitt Letter, which is full of insightful articles and news commentary. Call 1-800-WONDERS or visit us at levitt.com. Join us right now for additional content that is only available on our social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Visit our website, levitt.com, for the current and past programs, the television schedule, tour information, and our free monthly newsletter, which is full of insightful articles and news commentary. View it online, or we can ship it directly to your mailbox every month. Also on our website is the online store. There, you can order this week's resource, or you can always give us a call at 1-800-WONDERS. Your donations to Our Jewish Roots help us to support these organizations as they bless Israel. Please remember we depend on tax-deductible donations from viewers like you.
Throughout this whole series, we've been bringing you film-worthy, dramatic reenactments with Peter and all the other actors. These are Israeli Hebrew-speaking actors. I mean, it's incredible. Here's the thing that people don't know about. We had to bring props over and costumes over. Behind the actors, we had soundmen, we had cameramen, we had producers. That in Israel cost a lot of shekel. And in America, it cost a lot of dollars.
Yes.
And I know that all of you enjoy these dramatic reenactments. I mean, they really are movie quality, but we can't do it without you. So your dollars sent to this ministry produce quality. Really, I think there should be an award given for what Ken Berg has done with these dramatic reenactments. And we thank you. You made it possible.
We return now to our story of Peter soon after the big catch at sea. He's just had a personal encounter with Yeshua Jesus, wherein he was asked whether his devotion and commitment to the Lord was for real. And Andrew wants to know more. Let's go there now.
מדוע אתה חושב ישוע שאל אותך את השאלות האלה?
כדי לוודא שאני באמת אוהב אותו.
אבל למה 3 פעמים?
אני הבטחתי לו שלעולם לא אתכחש לו. ולעומת זאת, אני התכחשתי לו 3 פעמים. אז זה מוצדק מבחינתו לשאול אותי את זה 3 פעמים. כדי לוודא שאני באמת אוהב אותו.
כיפה. זה ברור שהוא רוצה שתאכיל את צונו. אבל הוא גם אמר שתשלם את המחיר על שתעשה זאת.
כן, אני יודע. זה לא יהיה קל.
Pinch me, I can't believe I'm here. Sea of Galilee. Well, that's where they are here in the book right now, and the task at hand is to look and see how Jesus finished up with his disciples at the end of the Gospel of John. There's a really interesting story here. We're told in verse 15 Well, just before that, Jesus had made breakfast, and they had eaten, subsequent to which Yeshua says to Peter, and I'm looking at verse 15, he says, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" When I first came across that, I wondered, why is he asking him a question? I get the impression if God asks a question, it's not like he doesn't know the answer. Something is being said for rhetorical effect. There's a statement in the question. He's pressing something. And then I wondered, what does he mean by, do you love me more than these? What, more than the fish? More than the bread? No, really, it's, do you love me more than these disciples? Now, what he's doing is he's harking back to a moment that's noted elsewhere in the Gospels. You might recall in Matthew chapter 26, verses 33 and 5, Peter is insistent that Jesus had said, you're going to fall away. And Peter says, no, never, I never will, I'll never deny you. He is emphatic. He's throwing his fist down. Maybe those guys will, but not me. Well, Peter had denied the Lord 3 times. Remember cock-a-doodle-doo? The cock crowed. He did deny the Lord. Well, now here is where Jesus is having an impersonal encounter with the guy that denied him. So it's like, hey, big guy, do you want to say that again? Do you want to tell me that you love me more than them? Do you want to tell me you're better than them? Really, he wasn't. He was different. You got to appreciate his enthusiasm. I do. But he's shackled with humanity like the rest of humanity, and he vacillated. So you want to say you're better, huh? It's interesting, in recounting the moment noted in the Matthean Gospel, where Jesus says you're all going to fall away, and Peter says, no, 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 not me. In conjunction with that, in Luke chapter 22, verse 32, I believe it is, just before that, Jesus looks at Peter and he prophesies, and he says, Peter, Satan demanded to have you to sift you like wheat. He said, I've prayed for you that your strength will not fail, and when you've turned again, strengthen your brethren. I mention that because that's what's at play here in the Johannine Gospel. Hey, Pete, you love me more than them? You think you're better? Well, you're not really. He says, now listen. He goes on to say, feed my lambs. After which he'll ask the question again, do you love me more than these? And make Peter say it a second time, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Okay, feed my sheep. Then he'll ask him again, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Tend my sheep. Why are you asking me to reaffirm this 3 times? Because you just denied him 3 times. You're afforded the opportunity to rededicate your life in the same way that you threw it away earlier. There's a beautiful story here, the grace of God. That is, that the Lord doesn't charge it against his account that he's shackled with humanity. He was fearful. He acted in a way that was rather lackluster, to put it mildly. One would have hoped for better from him, but it is what it is. There's a figure of speech, making peace with the devil. I don't want to say that I made peace with the devil or that Jesus made peace with the devil, but God long ago made peace with the fact that people are people. Whether it's people like Peter, whether it's people like me, or whether it's people like you. We all have some of that, Lord, I'll never deny you. Guess what I did? We all have a little stupid at play. We can make a decision for those of us that have been disappointed by people, whether we want to hold their stupid against them in perpetuity. Jesus didn't do that here. We can decide whether we're going to charge it against their account, extend it all the way into the future, or whether we're going to give people an opportunity to be people. Realize that people are people. We're all made of feet of clay from the neck down. No one's perfect. And afford people the opportunity to make their way back into our good graces. That's what's happening here. And coming from this place, Israel, and by the way, thank you so much for sending me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Coming from this place and coming from this book that tells the story of this place. Oh, friends, I think of the grace of God that is so very big, and it extends to sinners like me and you, and like those people that perform poorly in our webs of relationships. Oh, in so many ways, we're all much like Peter. Inasmuch as God gave Peter a break, would that we would do the same for the Peters in our own world.
I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma. I enjoy baking, I enjoy cooking for my family, I enjoy a good hearty breakfast. And in this program today, we're talking about probably the best meal ever served on planet Earth. This is breakfast with the risen King of Kings.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I know. Well, I feel that way about this. Yeah. Where'd the fish come from? Did Jesus fish it out? Did the risen Savior himself need that bread out? Can you imagine eating bread that the risen Messiah himself made and cooked on fire?
Well,
I think it's
never
spectacular.
thought of that.
Did it just appear?
Well, I never thought, like, of course, I don't live in a woman's experience in terms of making the meal, and you're there, Jesus, preparing a meal for the family, the exalted Lord,
Right?
It is kind of profound.
He could have come with his scepter and his crown, and he's back to normal. He's back to normal life for Peter. They're out fishing. He yells out to them, and then what did that fish and bread taste like? I think it was the best meal ever, in my opinion.
It's great.
Isn't that neat?
It really is, and it reminds me the Lord provides for us. He makes it for us. He wants to bless. They were tired, they were hungry. It wasn't a good night, it was a long night's work, and it had a great ending with an amazing catch, but these people are exhausted, and Jesus is sensitive to that and cares about these people.
I'm thinking about all we've heard from you so far about Peter's story from all of our programs. There's been a lot of grace that he's received through it all.
That's really why I wanted to do it. That's what I think that's why I gravitate to characters like Peter and like David. It's just, you see them in their humanity, and God loves them.
And this was redemption morning. Peter still, yes, he knew Jesus rose, but what we humans do is we've done that stuff. We've done something, and it's still eating away at us. He didn't have, I just thought, you talk about a come to Jesus meeting. He had a little mini come to Jesus meeting where Jesus gave him opportunity to redeem himself.
That's really important, too. That really is. Giving people, he didn't give them a break, but he afforded him an opportunity to reaffirm what Peter really was. Sometimes we get knocked out of kilter because of sin and circumstance, but our heart's really good, even with it all. But we need to be able to return back to that first love and articulate. That's profound.
No, and I love that. And can we just touch upon, real quick again, the 153 fish? I think in so many, even Bible class, you mentioned that, we've been to Bible college. We kind of read over that. That was extremely significant, the 153, was it not?
Yeah, John uses more symbolism than others, arguably. There's a few schools of thought on that. One, the rabbis identified 153 languages, and it's indicative of throw the net in there and bring in all people. Similarly, I remember an anthropology professor at Notre Dame at a doctoral lecture said, if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just add them, it comes up to 153. It's a way in Latin where we say ad infinitum. That is, it goes on indefinitely. The point is, just throw the net in there, and it's all going to come. You're going to see it come your way. And that's what he said 2,000 years ago, and 2,000 years later, it looks like he was right.
It is. We should all be out fishing for those men and women of the world.
That's true.
Every language.
Yes.
So good. There's a song that I recorded from our founder, Zola Levitt. It's the question that Yeshua asks Peter, do you love me? And now it's time for us to end our program on
It's time to say goodbye as you go now. Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim.
Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
tend to